Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you joining us online and here in person at ERIA Office Jakarta. We are very happy to welcome you in our office today. My name is Italia from ERIA Communications Department, and it is my great pleasure to serve as your MC today. Welcome to the 12th Asia CCUS Network Knowledge Sharing Conference and the launching of the Estimation of Indonesia Basin-Scale CO2 Storage Report, which is prepared by a joint team of experts from the Center for Technology Service, National Research and Innovation Agency, the Testing Center for Oil and Gas, LEMIGAS, Directorate General of Oil and Gas, and the Center for Geological Survey Geological Agency from MEMR with the support of Asia CCUS Network. For all of you who are here in this room, you can find a barcode in your desk which links to the agenda, presentation materials, and the executive summary of today's report. Without further ado, for the opening remarks, please allow me to introduce the Special Advisor on Energy Affairs of ERIA, Mr. Shigeru Kimura.
Thank you very much, Italians, for your kind introduction, and very good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Mirza Mahendra is Director of the Oil and Gas Engineering and Environment, MIGAS, Oil and Gas Department, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. Unfortunately, he is not in here, but he participates through the online. And Dr. Hens is Saputra, head of the Process and Manufacturing Technology Center and Energy and Manufacturing Research Organization, BRIN, National Research and Innovation Agencies. And thank you very much. It's Dr. Mirza and Dr. Hens to deliver the keynote speech after my opening speech. And distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoons. First of all, I'd like to express my thanks to all of you for your kind participation to the 12th Asia CCUS Network Knowledge Sharing Conference, both in person and online. Second, thank you very much, Dr. Usman of BRIN, becoming the speaker of this conference to present the estimation of the Indonesian basin-scale CO2 storage. And as well as Dr. Sure of ITB and Dr. Belladonna of the Indonesia CCUS Center, but she's coming to here is later, maybe 2 p.m. He's come to here. And for delivering your constructive comment to the Dr. Usman during this conference. According to EAS Energy Outlook, which cover the 17 EAS countries except Russia, CO2 emission of the ASEAN countries from now to 2050 are forecasted around the 25 gigaton of carbon or 87 gigaton of CO2. So far, there are several options to reduce the CO2 emission for applying the increase of renewable energy, both traditional and variable, but with battery, and nuclear, hydrogen and fuel ammonia, and the CCS and the CCUS, including the synthetic fuel and the gas, so-called the carbon recycling. And paying attention to the reality of ASEAN, which is fully depending on the young thermal power generation, like coal and gas. CCS and CCUS is a crucial technologies. In the view of the CCS, CO2 storage capacity is essential. And the area received the research study proposal to estimate the basin-scale CO2 storage capacity in Indonesia from Dr. Usman of BRIN. Then according to his proposal, Dr. Usman estimates CO2 storage capacity of the 128 candidate basin and put ranking on the basin in terms of the storage capacity, accessibility, affordability, and etc. It is a very interesting approach. Thus, ERIA selected this proposal as one of the research studies under the Asia CCUS Network framework. And today, Dr. Usman and are pleased to introduce major outcome of his research studies. Then vision of the ASEAN, Asia CCUS Network, is contribute decarbonization in Asia region through the development and the deployment of CCUS, and its roadmap clearly mentioned to start a CCS project, pilot project around the year 2025, shift CCS to commercial basis around the year 2030. Then, result of this research report are useful for area to choose CO2 storage site as a CCS pilot project. Later, Dr. Osman will present the estimation result of the CO2 storage capacity in Indonesia, and I guess it will be huge. Thus, Indonesia can be a CO2 storage hub in the Asia region, and the CO2 storage will be a clean energy business for the Indonesia, solving the cross-border issues of CO2 between the Indonesia and the CO2 emitting countries like Singapore and Thailand. Thank you again for all your participation in this conference, and I hope this launching conference for the report it will be successful and fruitful. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimura-san, for the opening remarks. Now, please turn your attention to the screen as we will hear from Dr. Mirza Mahendra, the Director of Oil and Gas Engineering and Environment Department of the MEMR. Dr. Mirza?
Okay, thank you for the times. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mirza.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Shigeru Kimura-san, Special Advisor for ERIA, President of ERIA, Bapak Hens Saputra from BRIN, Bapak Rahmat Sule from ITB, Ibu Belladonna from Indonesian CCS Center, distinguished speakers, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. It's a great pleasure for me to deliver a keynote speech in this forum. A project for me is not being able to attend in person. Ladies and gentlemen, CCS and CCUS will play importance in Indonesia as one of the key technologies to support our oil and gas production target and develop gas field with the high native CO2. Oil and gas, especially for gas, will remain critical during energy transitions periods. Indonesia has set target for national oil and gas production by 2030 and several gas fields with high CO2 content. The most important of the CCS is a need to support emission reductions, not only from oil and gas, but also other hard-to-abate industries to achieve net zero emissions target. And I think not only for Indonesia, but CCS is also important to reach global net zero emissions. To support CCS and CCS development in Indonesia, last year, we established ministerial regulations on the implementation of CCS CCUS in upstream oil and gas. These regulations is important as the first step to enable CCS CCUS based on production sharing contract or PSC in the existing oil and gas working area. With the storage potential and several ongoing CCS hub studies, last week, the presidential regulation on CCS number 14, year 2024, has been signed by President Joko Widodo. The president regulation is very important because it has broader scopes of CCS implementations to enable CCS outside of the oil and gas working area and also enable CCS with CO2 sourced from other industries not only domestic but also international, through to cross-border transportation and based on bilateral cooperations. This regulation also open investment opportunity through the two schemes. First is a cooperation contract under existing PSC, and the second one is the exploration permit and the storage operation permit. Not all of these projects are under the scope of ministry regulations because some projects are CCS hub, which a potential source of CO2 from industry. That's why we need these presidential regulations to to uh, to be uh, 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 to be one of the CCS can be elaborate from the other industries, not only in the oil and gas sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's knowledge sharing conference, Asia CCUS Network will also launch the research study report in collaboration with BRIN and LEMIGAS on the estimation of Indonesian basin-scale CO2 storage. I think we are all aware that the implementation of CCS will very depend on the CO2 storage capacity. As the first step, to evaluate the potential development of CCS technology in Indonesia and also encourage all investors to support the implementations. Parallel with the study, actually, the Directorate General of Oil and Gas are also conducting a study to map the potential storage from depleted oil and gas and saline aquifer in 20 producing basins, which will be launched soon. Please note that Indonesia has a total of the 128 basins. So I think we will have a huge potential of storage to support decarbonization in oil and gas and other industries, not only domestic, but also decarbonizations in the region through the CCS hub. Ladies and gentlemen, there are several issues that we are facing in the CCUS development. The first is a cost. I think it is similar with the all country. Another issue in CCS is to ensure that CO2 is safely and permanently stored. So a robust and international recognized methodology will be needed, especially for cross-border CO2. Indonesia is still in the early stage of CCS and CCUS developments because there is no commercial CCS CCUS project right now. So human capital developments, including this forum, are very important for the governments, CCS operator, and emitter regarding the technical monitoring, safety, commercial, carbon trading, and also regulatory framework. That's why we also encourage all stakeholders to support us, not only the CCS project development, but also for sharing knowledge and training to enhance the national capability. Finally, I would like to extend my appreciation to ERIA, Asia CCUS Network, and also BRIN for their outstanding effort in conducting this study. As I mentioned before, storage estimation is just an early stage. We need more subsurface data and investment to conduct deeper study and the exploration to ensure the feasibility of CCS development in each locations. And government of Indonesia is very open to cooperations and collaboration with all stakeholders and investors to support CCS implementations in Indonesia. Thank you. I think this is all my keynote speech in here. I hope all of you can be discussed and can give the best solutions to get more faster implementation of the CCS and CCUS in Indonesia. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Mirza, for your keynote speech. Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce the Head of Process and Manufacturing Technology Research Center Energy and Manufacturing Research Organization from National Research and Innovation Agency. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Hens Saputra.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Mr. Shigeru Kimura, Special Advisor on Energy Affairs to ERIA President. Mr. Mirza Mahendra, the Director. of Engineering and Environment, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Indonesia, the distinguished speakers, and all of the audience. First of all, I would like to praise and thank God, the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, who has granted countless blessing and help for us, so we can meet together in this event. My name is Hens Saputra, Head of Research Center for Process and Manufacturing Industry Technology, National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN. It is such a honor for me to be invited in this event. The 12th Asia CCUS Network, ASEAN Knowledge Sharing Conference, and the launching of research report. It is very important event for us in facing some problem now and the future. Ladies and gentlemen, National Research and Innovation Agency Republic Indonesia, or BRIN, is the only state institutions that has the task of conducting research. Previously, we are the Agency for the Assessment and Application of Technology, or BPPT, the Indonesian Institute of Science, or LIPI, the National Institute of Aeronautic and Space, LAPAN, the National Nuclear Energy Agency of Indonesia, or BATAN, and Ministry of Research and Science Technology. But since 2021, all of the institutions have been integrating into one institutions, plus by the research institute from the ministry. And we have three roles. Number one is the policymaker in terms of research and innovations and deliver recommendations to the government. Number two, the executing agency for research and innovations. And number three, the funding agency for all of the researchers in Indonesia by utilizing the grants from governments or matching grant with international funding. Of course, we open the collaborations to enhance the research and innovation ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia has the committed to reach net zero emission in 2060 or before. Indonesians' greenhouse gas emission reduction in 2030 with its own capability on the updated NDC or UNDC has been increased from 29% to 31.89%. While with the international support, the target has been increased from 41% to 43 to 20%. To achieve a just transitions, it is needed a continued support to developing countries, especially on the most vulnerable countries, for providing them the affordable, reliable, and sustainable access to energy capacity and modern, as well as the latest technology that affordable for the public. The mutual collaborations in technologies and financing of migration action in the energy sector. We should reduce the fossil fuel consumption while implementing the CCS and CCUS. Besides that, we need to increase the utilization of new and renewable energy, optimization of the utilization of primary energy mix, developing the energy storage, and considering the local wisdom. We have to controlling the excessive energy consumptions, revitalize old and inefficient infrastructure, improving the distribution system, and optimizations in utilization of new and renewable energy, considering the local wisdom according to the resources which available in that area. It is very important as well regarding the policy frameworks for research and innovation in carbon neutral energy sources. Policy to reduce emissions include carbon tax and incentives to those who use clean, eco-friendly energy. The policy on using carbon-free Low carbon fuels include green hydrogens, regulations regarding the utilization of hydrogen process production technology, storage, distribution, and utilizations. The economic safety aspect include infrastructure and human resources qualifications. Regarding the research in energy sector, especially CCS and CCUS, Indonesia agree that this research has an important role in the national and world of net zero emission roadmap. We have identified and preparing the mapping of storage in Indonesia. I think it will present by our researcher, Mr. Usman Pasarai, for this event. Hopefully, could be utilized as the reference in the implementation of CCS. It is better to continue this research further. Maybe we have to prepare the like demo plan for government and investors. And more important, research about the utilization of CO2 for producing chemicals could increasing the added value while solving the emission problem. And finally, thank you very much for supporting and funding by area. Hopefully, this collaboration will give benefit for us between Indonesia, Japan, Asia, and surrounding. And thank you very much for your attentions. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Saputra, for your remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to start the session. We are going to dive deeper on the report estimation of Indonesia Basin-Scale CO2 storage. Please welcome to the stage from BRIN, Dr. Usman Pasarai, from ERIA, Dr. Gusti Sedeman, from ITB, Dr. Rahmat Soleh, and will be joining us later from CCS Center, Dr. Belladonna Maulianda. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Dr. Gusti, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished participant online and offline. I think it is raining now in Jakarta. So if you hear strong noise like explosive, this is a thunderstorm. So please feel. Welcome again to the 12th Asia CCUS Network Knowledge Sharing Conference and the launching of a recent report, the estimation of Indonesia Basin Scale on CO2 storage. The result of estimation of Indonesia Basin CO2 is one of Asia CCS Network administered under area contribution to accelerate decarbonization in Asia region to meet 1.5 centigrade scenario. There is a consensus among experts that CCUS or CCS is not option. CCS is a part of solution. Projected Asia region will need to reduce CO2 emission by 20% with CCS or CCUS. But the problem is the availability of a storage for CCUS is not ready available. The availability of storage for CCUS in Indonesia, which is blessed with large amount potential, might be not only enough to store the emission from within Indonesia, but might also serve to store emission from neighboring country and the region. However, data storage capacity of CO2 either in Indonesia or in the region are barely available. Or storage data might be available but not accessible to public. Asia CCUS Network take an initiative to stimulate storage assessment by inviting research institutions in the region to conduct storage assessment in Indonesia and other countries in Asia. And for Indonesia, team from National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN, as appointed through competitive bidding. The study is completed in December 2023, and the report will available to public and accessible in the area website. Today, Dr. Usman Pasaray, the team leader of the research team, will present the result in 30 minutes. Then after that, we will invite review of the study or comment from Dr. Sule and Dr. Bella Dina later. And then let me introduce Dr. Usman and Dr. Sule, although maybe all of you, especially who are in this room, and know him well. Dr. Usman is a senior researcher at the National Research Innovation and Agency, or known as BRIN. He started his career research and development I'm sorry. He started his career at Research and Development Center for Oil and Gas Technology, known as LEMIGAS, as researcher, and become head of the exploitation technology until 2023, when he transferred to BRIN. He published more than 50 papers and more than 75 study. He is one of notable researcher, pioneer CCS research in Indonesia through his research on storage study, techno-economic, and also CCS value chain. Dr. Usman, time is yours. You have 30 minutes for presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Gusti, for a very kind introduction. I think I stand to deliver my presentation. We have a mic, but first, I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to ERIA for helping me in this occasion, the launching of a research report on assessment basin-scale CO2 storage in Indonesia. My talk will cover this outline. So first, I would like to introduce the objective of this research, scope of work, and then methodology and result and some conclusions. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So the objective of this research is to perform geological storage assessment for the sedimentary basin of Indonesia. In this case, we have 128 sedimentary basin across the archipelago. And in terms of their suitability for CO2 storage, the second objective is to estimate the storage capacity storage resources within the basins. And the scope of study of this research, the geological storage assessed through this research limited to two geological formation. First one is oil and gas reservoir, which is we evaluated at the field level, so not at the reservoir level, field level. And the second geological setting is a saline aquifer, evaluated at formation in the basin level. And for saline aquifer, we limit the formation, depth of formation between 800 and 2,500 meters. As you can see in this slide that saline aquifers in general very large compared to the oil and gas reservoirs. But in many parts of the around the world, include Indonesia, the data for saline aquifer is very limited. And the first step in this assessment was we evaluate the 120 acre basins. We call this is elimination process to identify which basin fall in the deep range, which is 800 meter to 2,500 meter. And we found that there is around 33 of 120 acre basin have a depth less than 800 meters. So all of this 32 basin is not proceeded for not included in the next selection process, screening process. So we only evaluated the 96 selected basins. And first step, we make screen the suitability of this all of selected basin. We develop 16 criteria, include consider the unique of geology of Indonesia. And these 16 criteria divided into 4 categories, which is data availability, storage potential, storage security, and environmental. And as you can see here, that there is a lot of data. We use it through this assessment, and this is all data collected from many sources. And this is the developed criteria for screening. And then we further divided the 16 criteria into the 5 class. With the highest class is the greater potential for suitability storage. And the number appear in these tables determined based on expert justification and also from literature review. And sorry. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Each criteria has a weight factor. So first step, we determine the weight factor for each criteria using what we call a pairwise comparison matrix. This approach to weight each criterion. And criteria here already listed accordance the important among which other criteria. And we can see here that then we calculate, we determine the weight of each criteria. And then, and this is the result for scoring of 96 sedimentary basin of Indonesia. And then we come with the ranking of these all basins. As you can see here, sorry. And this is a top 20 basin in terms of their suitability for CO2 storage. And we can see here that the these top 20 basins associated with producing basins. You know, the red one is indicate producing basins. So most of the top 20 suitable basin for CO2 or CCS application is associated with producing basin. Why? Because all of these producing basin already have very deep detailed data, subsurface data, because this is already produced, already has producing for a long time. And the next second task on this research is make estimation CO2 storage estimation within saline aquifer with basin level. We use a volumetric approach to estimate the stored resources for each basin with this using this formula. In this research, we introduce what we call a threat geometry multipliers, GFs. This is to reflect the uncertainty in terms of the bulk volume of the saline aquifers. So this is different with the previous methodology used in many literature. And also we use what we call CO2 storage efficiency factor. And this is a function of lithology. And then this factor reflect the effective pore volume of the saline aquifers. And then this is how do we define the threat geometry multipliers from through our review on all Indonesian basin. We found that most of the basin have a flat top anticline shaft. So we use this factor, flat top anticline, which fall in the range of 0.66 to 0.74. So the ratio of length to width fall within the range 2 to 10. So from each basin, we first we evaluate this ratio, the ratio of length to weight, and then by knowing the ratio, then we can determine the what we call the trap geometry multipliers. So this factor will reduce the uncertainty on a back volume of the saline aquifer. So this is the flow chart of the process. Then we start from the map produced by Geological Agency. This is published in 2022. As we can see, there is a 128 basin divided on discovery, producing and discovery, prospective, and also unexplored basins. And to perform the estimation, of course, we need also the other property of the basin, and this property collected from many sources, as you can see in the box, within the box. And then we develop what we call a saline or basin database for saline aquifer assessment. And finally, we estimate the storage resources using the precipitation. And then these storage resources classified according to what we call the SPE, Storage Resources Management System. And in this case, our number classified as prospective storage resources. Then this is the result, the numbers. So we during this study, we have only 21 complete set of basin data sets. So these numbers, the storage resources for saline aquifer is around 680. This represents from 21 basin with formation, each formation within the basins. So many studies already performed to assess the CO2 storage in Indonesia, but limited basin, limited formation, also in the only in the particular area, say in South Sumatra or also in West Java. So this is the assessment represents more wide basin. As you can see here, there, we evaluate 21 basins. Okay, this is the way how we evaluate, how we estimate the storage resources within each basin. First, from the map produced by Geological Agency, we also define what formation exists within this basin, and then we select the formation within the range 800 to 2,500, and then we estimate, determine a geological factor for this shape of basin by estimate the ratio of length and width, and then we come with the geometric factor for this particular basin. And others property, as I mentioned before, derived from many sources. And at the end, we can estimate the storage CO2 storage resources for this particular basin. We in formation, lower gabus formation. Yeah? In this case, we So the example calculation, the storage capacity in Gabus formation within the West Natuna Basin. Okay, then this is the result. Sorry, this is the result. Distributed 21 saline aquifer. Then we can see here the higher storage resources exist in Kutai Basin. This basin has more than 150 gigaton of CO2 storage resources. Then the next task is estimate the storage resources within oil and gas, depleted oil and gas reservoir at the field level. Okay, this is the approach we apply for estimation storage CO2 storage resources in oil and gas field. Same as the previous one, we use a volumetric approach, but in this case, the data we have, we modified this formula according to the data that we have. In this case, we have what we call original oil in-place and original gas in-place data. And by using this data, we then estimate the storage, the CO2 storage resources in each oil and gas fields. Then, sorry. Bisa ini ya? Ada yang bisa bantu nggak operate biar cepat ya? Okay, this is the workflow. So we assess more than 1,000 oil and gas field, 1,083. And from this total number of field, only there is 1,071 that has data for evaluation, and consists of 729 oil field, and the rest is gas fields. Then we estimate the storage resources using the previous equation and come with the result, and the result according to the storage resources management system classified as a contingent storage resources. So this is compared to the previous one, this more higher classification, more certain compared to the previous saline resource storage resources. And sorry. Okay, this is the distribution of the storage resources in the basin level. So as you can see here that we also divided the plated oil and gas according to the proven, probable, and possible category. So the results here that there is around 10 gigaton of CO2 storage resources within oil and gas fields, amounted 1.3 in oil fields and 8.84 in gas fields. And so in terms of the plated oil and gas, most of the storage capacity exists in gas fields, because this most of the gas field has larger size, and then also has a more higher recovery factor compared to the oil field. So that's why the gas storage resources higher than oil storage resources. And this is a sample how to estimate. So this kind of data we collected from the many sources, then perform the calculation using the previous equation. And then we plot the storage resources on the basin level. And most interesting on this figure that from the 1.3 gigaton of CO2 storage, almost 85% distributed only on 5 basins. So this is the top 5 of basin, which is Central Sumatra, West Java, Kutai, South Sumatra, and Sunda Astria. This is for oil field. So this is important to further investigate the storage capacity, so we can focus within this top 5 of basins. Same with the gas fields. Also, here, so we can see the top 5 gas field is most associated with our gas producing fields. And this is the oil and gas field, the map for distribution, CO2 storage distribution in oil and gas fields, presented in basin scales. So that's the last slide for the result of the study and the conclusion. So several study of CO2 storage resources have been carried out in selected sedimentary basin of Indonesia, and the storage resources were estimated up to 69 gigaton in selected aquifers, and the CO2 storage resources within oil and gas field assessed or estimated 2.5. This has come from the previous study. And this study more advanced from others due to provide a rank of Indonesia sedimentary basin in terms of CO2 storage suitability, and also CO2 storage assessment with a level of estimation range from basin scale for saline aquifer to field scale for hydrocarbon reservoir in selected sedimentary basin, and classify the quantitative estimation in terms of data availability. And we integrate all the results into GIS-based tools. And we also introduce new approach by adding what we call a trap geometry multiplier to reduce uncertainty of bulk volume of saline aquifer, bulk volume estimation of saline aquifers. And from this study, we found that Indonesia storage resources in the saline aquifer is estimated around 680.57 gigaton distributed in 21 sedimentary basin and classified as prospective storage resources. And CO2 storage resources in the carbon field estimated around 1.3 gigaton distributed in 728 oil field and 8.84 gigaton in 340 gas fields. They are classified as contingent storage resources. And finally, Indonesia has a significant potential CO2 storage, both in deep saline aquifer and hydrocarbon field, and these resources make Indonesia suited to be part of a regional CCS hub. And this is last slide. Summary of the results. Presented in storage resources management system, the SPE, storage resources management system framework. So that's all my slide. Thank you very much, and we very welcome for discussion.
Thank you very much, Pak Usman, for your comprehensive presentation and using time effectively. So now I will invite our reviewer or commentator, Dr. Muhammad Rahmat Sule. Let me introduce him first. Dr. Muhammad Rahmat Sule is a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Mining and Petroleum Engineering at the Institute of Technology Bandung. He teaches several courses at the Geophysical Engineering and Geothermal Engineering study program. He received both bachelor and master in geophysics from ETB, and he obtained his PhD from geophysics from Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, Germany. Currently, he is the manager of the National Center of Excellence, or COE, for CCS, CCUS, and the manager of Center for CO2 and Flare Gas Utilization at ETB. The Center of the National Center of Excellence for CCUS. Actually, this is perhaps the best center in Asia, founded among others by Dr. Rahmat Sule, and also in cooperation with the Ministry of Energy, ASEAN Development Bank, also Pertamina and LEMIGAS in 2017. Initially expanded by ADB, but currently operate independently. That's an additional information. It's also a coordination of. I'm sorry. Its main task is to prepare the Gundi. It's enhanced gas recovery project, which will be the first ever implemented CCUS pilot project in South and Southeast ASEAN region. He also coordinating the purification of the plant Tangguh enhanced gas recovery project, which has potential to inject 32 to 40 million ton of CO2. Others, COE also work that manage the CO2 source and sink map in Indonesia, strategy for implementing zero routine flaring in Indonesia, and promoting also bioenergy with carbon capture and storage in Indonesia for limiting to well below 1 degree. This also teach and administer international energy agency greenhouse gas CCS summer. Dr. Sule, please, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sideman, for the introduction. Yes, my role now is to give comments. It's like a football match, but it is related to the academic and also research. So first of all, I would like to congratulate Pak Usman and the team from BRIN and also from LEMIGAS, from Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, for this very great achievement. Yeah, so we understand that this work is very tough to do, and finally you could finalize it. Very good achievement. Yeah. And then because my role is to give some suggestions, so maybe I would like to uh, point out several things. Um, in the past time, I received a very good book from Norway, our friend from Norway, and it is called CCS Atlas in Norway. Yeah, so maybe it would be a very good idea if the result of your study could be published something like this. Why? Because rather than uh, explanation, which is sometimes for the beginner, it's not interesting. Yeah, it should be more colorful, many picture, and then the layout is very great, and for the dummy people, so they will have interest to read it. Yeah, so maybe this is the first suggestion. And then related to the content, I have no doubt about this result. Yeah, but my suggestion is that if we could ask several uh, local champion in Indonesia, for example, Professor Dodi Abdasa or Professor Benjamin Sapii, to give a comment in the forward of this book, so it will be a good idea. On the other hand, maybe you could ask also another expert, international expert from different organization such as IEA or IEA GHG, or maybe Global CCS Institute, yeah, or maybe Japan CCS Institute. Uh, we have also a connection with the Clean Energy Ministerial CCUS, yeah. So maybe it would be if we, yeah, I mean, if you ask them to read this draft of book, and then later they could write 1 or 2 pages of their comment, it would be very, very good idea. Yeah. Okay. And then the third suggestion is related to the how to promote this achievement to the international community. Yeah. So I understand from your explanation that the book will be published by ERIA. It is correct, right? Yeah. But then later, how this book could be distributed to the other institution and also expert all around the world. We have two it is conducted every 2 years. This is a so-called greenhouse gas technology conference, and this year will be conducted in Calgary in Canada. So maybe it would be a good idea if, for example, area could have a stand there, introduce your activity in this conference, and then this book could be distributed in this conference, whether it is for free or maybe the people could buy it. Yeah, I believe that this is a very good example, because a developing country could produce a very good uh, a, a very good book. Yeah, it is a very rare achievement. Okay, and then later, oh yeah, of course, before beside this greenhouse gas technology conference, Asian Development Bank normally conduct a so-called Asia Clean Energy Forum in Manila. So the book could be also distributed there, or maybe area could make a collaboration with ADB to reprint or reproduce this book together. Yeah. Okay. And then the next is because Asia CCUS Network is already established since, let's say, 3 or 4 years ago, right? Yeah, I think it is a good start to make a breakthrough with a very, very important program. We could imitate what the Norway and the other country in Europe to establish Northern Light project. So maybe this is already the right time for the country in the East and Southeast Asian region to work together and saying that, okay, the implementation of the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement will be something like this. Yeah. Yeah. For Europe, CCS is accepted. Yeah. Transboundary CCS is accepted but maybe for ASEAN country, CCUS and CCS and CCUS will be accepted. Okay. And it should be promoted during COP meeting that is conducted every year. Yeah. Okay. And yes, I think I already mentioned several suggestions. So the network is very crucial because sometimes our good achievement is not heard by the other international community. I remember that around 2 years ago, there is an issue in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources because they received a report from the Global CCS Institute saying that the storage capacity in Indonesia is much smaller than in Malaysia. Why? Because how to determine the storage capacity is not the same. So with the achievement from Pak Usman and the team, we already declare, okay, this is the degree of our estimation, which could be uh, uh, classified as resources, perhaps, yeah. But then it could be the basis for the higher resolution work in the future, yeah. Because this is a basin scale, but later maybe you could increase, or maybe the other organization in Indonesia could increase the estimation of the storage capacity in the higher resolution. Yeah, so we will use the achievement from Pak Usman and the team as the basis for the future estimation. Okay, that's all. Maybe my comment and also suggestion. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad Sule, for your kind review and comment. And then maybe we will ask you some question later. So please welcome Dr. Bella Dona Troxilon Maulidinda also. Selamat datang, Bu. So, yeah, we invite Dr. Bella Dona or Bu Bella as our commentator and reviewer also. She is a special energy. Let me introduce her also to you. She is a special energy advisor for coordinating Minister of Maritime Investment Affairs and also she is an executive director at Indonesia CCS Center. She is an experienced energy professional with expertise in energy transition, CCS and CCUS, and also sustainability. With over 20 years of global experience, she has worked in various sectors, including government, management oil and gas, upstream operation, and also services. She has gained valuable experience working in diverse international settings, including Canada, Scotland, Malaysia, and Indonesia. The Indonesia CCUS Center, CLEAD, is a community of experts from diverse fields who commit to finding effective solution to the challenge posed by carbon emission. Or the center mission is to facilitate the development of Indonesia CCS with activities focused on three goals: is enabling comprehensive and extensive study in financial, technical, and regulation for the development of CCS. Also establish mutually beneficial cooperation supporting CCS stakeholder and to increase public understanding of CCS industry activities. Dr. Bella, time is yours. You have 15 minutes for review. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sorry being late. Was just held in another meeting with the Deputy Coordinating Minister, of course, about CCS. So first of all, thank you for ERIA for inviting me, and thank you for BRIN, Usman, and the team for the excellent work. So probably I'll just give some inputs, right, and then probably some suggestions, like Dr. Sule already conveyed. Probably I'll just add up some few more inputs. So I think I'll go page by page, and then probably later on I'll go into a higher level strategy. So on the page 9, you were saying that. Uh, there were around 96 basins, but then on the table there were only like around 19 basins. So probably then you can elaborate more uh, with what about the other basins that were excluded from this page 9 table. And then on page 10 on your presentation, you mentioned on the top 20 basins. And then, for example, number 1 is Kutai, but this Kutai wasn't included on the example of the screening. There were like around 16 criterias, right? And then if you can elaborate more, especially on the Kutai basin, which is the number 1. And then on more some of the technical part before I'll go to the strategy on page 10, you mentioned there were few unexplored and discovery and also prospect basins that had a higher ranking compared to the producing basins. Probably you can elaborate more on this one. And then on page 11, and page 17, when you determine the storage capacity for the saline aquifer and for the depleted reservoir, I noticed you use the static equation. And then, as far as I know, it would be best to use dynamic equation, where then you can consider the permeability and porosity changes as a function of time, pressure, and temperature, either for the depleted reservoir and for the saline aquifer, where the dynamic equation uses a function of compressibility, viscosity, and many more. And then my other inputs are, there are certain saline aquifer that could be at a shallower depth compared to your oil and gas reservoirs depth. And then I think it would be best if we can focus on the shallower saline aquifer, because then we for sure we do have the data already, because then when we're measuring the reservoir bottom hole data, for example the PVT, geomechanic, geochemistry, and so on, of course we're gonna pass down that shallower depth of the saline aquifer, but of course at the safest depth, right? And then if I'm not mistaken, I guess my other inputs and question probably. LEMIGAS already also launched another report on the storage capacity, right? And I was also invited to this event together with the other expert from ITB. And if I'm not mistaken, LEMIGAS values was around 588 gigatons, with around 8 gigatons from depleted reservoir and the rest is from saline aquifer. So my question is, what's the difference between your methodology and LEMIGAS methodology? Because I noticed your value is around 680 gigatons. And then probably the last technical question. What do you suggest that how can we improve the ranking of our basins and then improve the proof too, right, from the 3U to 1P? What are the support or challenges that probably you think that we're going to be facing? And then in terms of the technicality, and then in terms of the support from the government, what do you need from the government to increase this the proven and probability? And then my next question, because we're trying to push Indonesia as the regional CCS hub, because as you know, the Indonesia currently we don't have the implemented carrot and stick, right? We don't have the implemented carbon tax and carbon incentive yet. Um, so I think it would be best. I think your work is excellent to offer the leveraging values of Indonesia as the regional CCS hub, either for the domestic and also for the cross border. Because as you know that we just launched the presidential regulation recently, and then we do have the allocation for the domestic and the cross border. So I think when you can improve your probability and your proven from the 3U to 1P, I think it would be best for the Indonesian government to offer the G2G agreement to other countries. And hopefully, since we already launched the presidential regulation last week, we're gonna launch pretty soon one G2G agreement with the neighboring country that will allow us to do cross border. And I think when this cross border will be allowed, we're gonna use and we're gonna use your report extensively. And then another thing that in June, Indonesia is chosen as the host of ISO TC265 annual meeting, and this is due to our achievement and our progress in the regulatory framework in CCS. So usually the 43 participating countries, usually they were competing to be chosen as the host of this ISO TC265 meeting. But Indonesia was chosen, and then it will be held in June, the first week of June. So BSN will be the host, and Indonesia CCS Center will be the co-host. And I think it will be best if BRIN and ERIA can also participate and within this annual meeting, and then you can showcase to all the 100 experts from ISO 43 countries participating. So it will be on the first week of June, and then later on we can collaborate together. And I think the other thing that we're gonna have also CCS forum in July, and I think it would be best also that if BRIN can showcase this and area also can launch this paper and then showcase to the other countries that we do have these findings, because in the CCS forum we'll be inviting the president of World Bank, USDOE, Global Success Institute, and so on, like Dr. Sule mentioned just now, that based on Global Success Institute annual report last year, Indonesia is the highest Asia's country ranking in terms of CCS regulatory framework. So I think having your excellent work and paper will be supporting this, all the other achievements such as the regulatory framework and so on. The last two inputs, since we're pushing the Indonesia as the CCS hub, which is hub is a collective effort or a big portion of clusters in few of the locations in Indonesia, which is the nearby emitters and injectors. I think these clusters or hubs will be depending also on storage capacity. So I think that's how we can start to develop a CCS hub. Of course, to start it from the storage capacity, then moving forward to the transportation and emitters and so on. So I think it would be best if BRIN and ERIA from your work of the storage capacity, we can work together and to discuss this with the CCS value chain stakeholder, either on the injector side or transporter and also the emitter, to make them aware of the potential of Indonesia's storage capacity. So I think let's work hand in hand and then to collaborate with the all the CCS hub or CCS value chain stakeholder. My last comment is we do have a very close collaboration with the U.S. government, which is U.S. Commerce Department, which they help us to collaborate with the ISO TC265. That's why we can launch the 4 national standards last year on number 14, 15, 18, and 23 on geological storage from ISO standards, focusing on geological storage. So I think in the future, we will try to collaborate more with BRIN and ERIA in terms of the implementation of these ISO standards and also the verification and validation for these standards. So yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Bella, atas. I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Belladonna, for your very thorough review and detailed input for our report, and also the information regarding collaboration and cooperation in the future. So I will going back to Dr. Usman. So I would like you to make a response to the review, and after that we will invite participant both online and offline to raise question or make comment also. Please, Pak Usman.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sule and Dr. Bella for comments, input, and suggestion on our works. So from Dr. Sule, I believe most of this comment, suggestion will be responded by. I believe that this comment should be responded by area for next activity, how to disseminate of these works, and maybe just few suggestion from Dr. Sule. First one is regarding the CCS Atlas. I fully agree that these results also will better if we can produce in a kind of atlas. Actually, the basic map from this study already included in this as a part of this report. So maybe just need final touch to improve the to display in the atlas forms. As I mentioned in my slide, that we provide we integrate all the results in a geographical information system. So also we transfer the data to the area in the GIS format data. So it's all data ready to display in the spatial map. So maybe needs a final, final, finalize, finalize to this or to display in the form of atlas, like in Norway. Also, I also saw in some says atlas from US and Canada. It's a very informative report. Regarding the suggestion on improve the resolution of data. This is also a similar concern from Dr. Bella, how to improve the 3P category to 1P categories. So yeah, that's our challenge. Limited data, particularly on saline aquifer, as we recognize that there's only a limited information reflected the subsurface information on saline aquifers. So maybe next step we can select the most appropriate basin, saline aquifer, and make a deep assessment to provide high resolution category or a more less uncertainty in terms of the subsurface parameters. Others comment maybe respond from Kimura since regarding the suggestion from Dr. Sule to disseminate the result on in various international events. And from Dr. Bella, very thanks for deep review on our works. I'm the first one is regarding the selected basin, the assessed basin. So not all of the 128 basin assessed in this work, in the study, due to the again the limited data. As we reported in this research that in the first screening there is 32 sedimentary basin eliminated from the assessment due to the shallow, because all of these 32 basin has depth less than 800 meters on depth. So as I explained, that our this assessment limited. We assess only the formation fall in the range 800 to 205 meters. So there is a 32 basin has less than 800 meters. And the rest of 96 basins, after collecting all information available, not all of these 96 basin has appropriate data for CO2 storage assessments. Finally, we only have 21 set of data, 21 basin that has a set of data for estimate storage resources assessment, particularly in saline aquifers. So that's the reason why only 21 sedimentary basin reported in our works. And the Kute Basin has higher storage resources due to this basin has more thick formation, thick formations. In addition to has a quite area, basin area. So that's why this Kute has higher storage resources compared to others. And there is also discover and prospect basin listed in our report. There are two. One discover category as discover basin, which is basin has a well but not produce hydrocarbon yet. So we have a set of data from these two discover basins, so we include in this assessment. Actually, producing we have 20 producing basin, but we exclude one of a basin which is East Natuna Basin. East Natuna Basin is not included in this assessment, as we know that even this basin categorized as a producing basin, but we realize that there is still higher uncertainty within this East Natuna Basin. Even though that we know that there is a huge gas field within this basin, but we know that this gas has a higher CO2 content. So actually we has a deep discussion either include or exclude this basin in this assessment, but finally we decided not include it because we don't know how to approach the produce CO2 from this field when this field develop. So that's why the total number of basin included in this our assessment only 21, 90 from producing basin and 2 prospective basins. And other comment from the Dr. Bella regarding the static equation versus a dynamic equation, dynamic approach. Yeah, of course, the reason why we use static approach in this works due to the data availability. We only have static data, porosity, pressure, temperature, and very limited dynamic data, particularly for saline aquifers. We don't have any kind of dynamic data like viscosity, permeability, compressibility from these saline aquifers. But for depleted oil and gas reservoir, we apply ultimate estimated ultimate recovery, which represents the volume available can be filled by CO2. So this volume already, of course, obtained from the very how to say sophisticated methodology, either from simulation or using the production data to validate this volume. So we believe that the volume used in this for depleted oil and gas is quite reliable. And the result from LEMIGAS versus ERIA, what is difference? The first, the data use. We, as I know, the data used by our college from LEMIGAS based on the latest data from SKK, representing the latest situation, latest condition of the oil and gas fields. But in this study, we use the volumetric data based on the data, the received data in 2018. But we already validate this data. We plot the estimated ultimate recovery in the last 5 years to investigate is the 2018 volumetric data still reliable or not. And if we found that the estimated ultimate recovery within the last 5 years seems similar volume. So that's validate our approach using the estimate ultimate recovery of oil and gas fields. So we believe this number quite represents the pore volume available for CO2 storage, particularly in depleted oil and gas reservoir. And suggestion to improve the ranking, the category from 3P to 1P. As I mentioned, that of course we need more exploration, more data, and let's start to for a particular saline aquifer, suitable, very suitable saline aquifer, and let's see what kind of data available on this saline. I believe that for producing basin, we have we have wells that penetrated the saline aquifer, then maybe provide detailed information to assess more detail of the saline aquifer within this producing basin. But unfortunately, within the limited time for this research, not provided such kind of this deep assessment. And I think that's my response. Dr. Bella, please correct me if I miss some comment, some suggestion. That's all, Mr. Mr. Sudirman.
Thank you, Dr. Risman, for your response to both commentator. I think if still some issue, maybe we have we can discuss this later. But let's take a question from online first. So we have around 6 questions, but not all related to our topic actually. So the one is related is from Mr. Dani Kusuma. Maybe what is the technical difference between storage and depleted oil and gas and saline aquifer? I think you may answer later. But other quite important question is from Mr. Surachai. He asked regarding the risk of earthquake in Sumatra. Did you consider risk of earthquake in your storage assessment? So that's the is question. And the third question from Dr. Sita Rahmani from National University of Singapore is regarding where are the priority for the further development or site characteristic. I think this is maybe out of our topic because this is more related to government policy and decision. But because we have two experts from our Center of Excellence. Maybe later, if you have idea for to answer Dr. Sita Rahmani question, please do later. But please, Pak Usman, you may answer the two questions already raised.
Regarding depleted versus saline aquifers, so as I explained in slides, that for depleted oil and gas reservoir, we use the data of estimated ultimate recovery, which is this volume. This volume derived from very sophisticated methodology like simulation model. Also consider all dynamic aspect of the reservoirs. So that's why the result from estimation from depleted oil and gas reservoir we classify as contingent CO2 storage resources. But for saline aquifer, we estimate using the regional data, not based on well data, but we derive the parameter use it for the estimation based on the regional data, like thermal gradient map, thermal regional gradient map, pressure regional gradient map, to estimate the density of CO2 in particular depth of saline, our target saline aquifer. So with this data, the result of estimation for saline aquifer, we classify it as a prospective CO2 storage. So need more activity to reduce the uncertainty associated with these numbers. And for earthquake, we consider during the screening process. As I mentioned, we developed the set of criteria, 16 criteria, include this earthquake aspects. So we consider this issue during the screening process, of suitability of Indonesian sedimentary basin. And as you can see in the map, that the top 10 of the suitable basin located quite far from the within in the eastern, let's say in the eastern or part of Indonesian archipelago. So most of the basin near from ring of fires, not included in the top 20 suitable basin for CO2 storage. That's my comment, Pak Sudirman.
Dr. Usman, I will like to invite question and comment from outside participant. Please, anyone who have a question and comment, please raise your hand and please mention your name and also your institution.
Thank you, Pak. My name is Adi. Okay, thank you, Pak. My name is Adi. I'm from Deloitte Consulting. First, I think question from Pak Usman. This is related to the comment from Ibu Bella that most of the reservoir or the basin is actually a producing reservoir. So we expect there will be a changes in downhole permeability, porosity, and also saturation of the basin. How significant these changes to the future storage capacity, and will it be other adjustment required based on current, probably SK LEMIGAS have the current data, well data based on production logging or any downhole measurement. So how it will change the storage capacity in the future. The second one, I think, to Pak Sule as well. You mentioned that last year there was some difference storage capacity where we are actually lower than Malaysia. Um, it's you mentioned the calculation is different, the method is different. Is there any actually standard calculation method that recognized worldwide? So it give you a standard calculation and give the investor actually a security to determine whether this is actually the same calculation method. And I think also for Mbak Bella, one of the comment is we just received the Presidential Decree 14/2024. We see that the basin is actually not only for oil and gas field, but also for general or common wilayah kerjasama. For example, an open pit or any mining industry. So how it can be implemented related to probably how will you implement in the future, how the storage will be calculated or even executed. Thank you very much, Pak.
Thank you. Other question, maybe? Please, Pak Luki.
Thank you, Pak Sideman. Maybe it's not some questions, but it's comments for the future work. First of all, we would like to congratulate BRIN and ERIA that has been conducting this study and completing this study. It's well done. However, this is just a beginning. So sometimes the time is the essence. So we need to move on quick. As what Pak Sule mentioned, that Malaysia has been moving forward. We need to move forward, regardless the number. I think we need to move forward to become a hub for the region. So, regardless the number, because this is just in accordance to your presentation, Pak Usman. It's SRMS. Yeah, it's the sub-commercial, right? So we need to go into the commercial side, and we need some calculation. We need computation to make sure that which basins or which field would be commercialized. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is to identify the risk. It has been quite extensive discussion on the risk of leakage. And when you have identified all the basins, perhaps the next one is to identify the risk of leakage, because it needs to be assured that the silt is quite stable. I don't know so those are the two things I think to move forward with the study. Thank you.
I would like Pak Usman, Pak Bambang. Oh,
Thank you, Pak Sideman. I would like to add some comment to Pak Luki comment regarding the leakage. Yeah, that it is also related to Ibu Bella's question regarding the shallow saline aquifer. It is one of our reason not to choose the shallow basins because of the risk of leakage. And it is higher, it is bigger in the shallow basins. That is the first. And the second is with regard to the depth of between 800 meters down to 2,500 meters. It is the range of ideal condition for supercritical CO2. Yeah, that's why that the two reasons that ruled out the consideration of the shallow basins. So that's my addition. Thank you.
thank you, Prof. Bambang. for your explanation. Pak Dr. Usman Sule, please answer.
Thank you, Prof. Bambang, for additional information. And the question from Pak Adi related the recent data, updated data from SKK. What is the effect on the on these current results? As you can see that our result presented in SR Storage Resources Management System, which is classified according to the level of uncertainty of data usage. So of course, if we have more detailed data, then it can increase or the classification of the numbers. So this is very important for investors. So that's why we present the result in the SRMS frameworks to have same understanding, same language with all from various stakeholders. So to have let's say they say proof class not capacity class. So of course we need further detailed assessment for a particular reservoir, particular target. So the new data will increase the level of maturity of our assessments. So of course there is in general prospective. In general, more higher numbers compared to the capacity number or contingent numbers. So I agree with the concern from Mr. Pak Luki. So we should move forward to identify which best candidate from this from among of our basin, and then perform detailed assessment on this selected candidate. Last time I discussed with Met Shigeru already planned to have a more detailed assessment on selected saline aquifers. So that's I think good way to move forward to show the maturity of our storage resources.
Thank you, Pak Usman. Time limit, so we cannot entertain the more question, but we will ask Dr. Sule and Dr. Belladonna to give a last remark for. Thank you.
So we don't have to answer the question. Okay. So okay.
We not able to take
Yeah.
more questions.
Okay.
We have time for you to answer.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Maybe I will answer your question very short. Actually, before 2023, there is several storage estimation calculation in each country, including in Indonesia. But at the time, I remember from LEMIGAS, the coverage of area is only South Sumatra and East Kalimantan. And on the other hand, other country maybe the coverage is larger, and the result impact to the number. And then secondly, the parameter used in the equation is not consistent between one country and the other. especially the efficiency factor. So at the end, the storage capacity in Indonesia is smaller than in other country. Why? Yeah, because the coverage is smaller, of course. And then in 2023, for the first time, there is a result from the study conducted together by JOGMEC and Halliburton to estimate the storage capacity in Southeast Asia region. And at the time, because the use of the parameter is consistent, so Indonesian storage capacity is much higher than the other country. Now, uh, BRIN and also maybe LEMIGAS and also Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources try to extend the coverage to the whole area of Indonesia, and the result is what we have heard before. So, and the closing remark from me is that, yeah, thank you very much. This is very useful as the country. We already have one publication officially, and it could be used to show to the other country that, oh, this is the storage capacity in Indonesia, although it is in the low resolution, and there is a potential for the other unit in Indonesia to extend the storage calculation to the higher level, yeah, higher resolution level. Hopefully, this good achievement could be an example for better future in Indonesia. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mas Adi, for the question. So actually, you were asking how you can calculate the storage on the saline aquifer beyond on the oil and gas working area. So I think the methodology should be similar with the saline aquifer and the depleted reservoir within the oil and gas working area. But I think the challenges would be the data, right? Since we don't have the past subsurface data, right? But I think what we can do for now is we can start from the saline aquifer and the depleted reservoir from the oil and gas working acreage as a proof of concept, right? So then when we do have the successful story, then we can have a better and fine-tuned methodology either from the industry practice or from the international standards that we already have the national standards itself, right, for the geological storage. So I think that what we need to do for now, which is we do need the success stories, right? Which is we are a developing country where you can see that, the CCS hub in the other part of the world on the global north or developed countries, right? So if we can develop the first CCS hub within this region in this our developing country without any carbon tax and carbon incentive, it will be, the first one in the world, right? We do have the presidential regulation already. We are the first within the region that has this regulation, and we are competing with the other countries such as Timor Leste, Malaysia, Australia, and so on for the CCS hub. And even just now, recently, I got an email from Petronas, and then they're saying they want to learn how to develop the presidential regulation, right? So is that aggressive, the competition? So I think for my last remark, Pak Sidaman, Pak Usman, and Pak Sule, and thank you for the great effort. Right, I know it's a lot of effort, to put into some values into the storage capacity, but there's a lot of hard work in the background. I know that for sure, and then I really appreciate the effort. And then, like Pak Sule mentioned just now, the first thing that usually people or other countries question is the storage capacity, right? So then we need to start from there before we can have a bold statement that we can be the regional success hub. So thank you for the great effort to make the numbers like it's a large number, right? I know it's not as big as US, but I think we are the largest in the region where we're competing with the western part of Australia. But I think it's a good start, to convey to the investor, to convey to the neighboring countries that Indonesia is more than capable, and we are ready to be the regional success hub. We do have the the scientific values of the storage capacity from BRIN and ERIA. We do have the regulatory framework, and then we're preparing for the other instrumental environment enabler for the CCS. So I think, yeah, we need to be proud of Indonesia for the achievement for the last year. We do have a lot: presidency regulation, national standards, BRIN and area, the storage capacity, and even I think many more to come in the future. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Risman, Dr. Sule, and Dr. Belladonna for very comprehensive presentation and also review. So I think we come to the end of the session. I am very sorry that we cannot entertain all of the questions, especially from online, but please drop your question on area email. So I will try my best to that your question will reach the person you intended to ask. So I will assure that you will receive the answer. So from the presentation of Dr. Usman, review from Dr. Sule and Dr. Belladonna, we believe that research report estimation of Indonesia Basin-Scale CO2 storage provide more detailed information about storage capacity in Indonesia. ERIA or Asia CCUS Network expect that the report could provide initial information for public who interesting in CCUS development, institution who design policy, as well as to industry or investor that may seek an opportunity to participate in Indonesian carbon system. We hope also that the study could trigger more detailed study using not only public data but also proprietary data owned by company. That kind of study, if performed by Indonesian government or industry in Indonesia, certainly will increase the attractiveness of CCUS in Indonesia. With more data available to public, CCS may proceed faster. And the aim of Indonesia to be a hub as intended by government might be could realize. By saying that, I conclude this session and returns the forum to Talia, the MC. Thank you very much, Talia.
You, Dr. Gusti, for your moderation. Thank you for the speakers. Before we continue to the closing remarks, may I invite for a photo session Dr. Gusti, all panelists, also Mr. Shigeru Kimura, Dr. Hens, Dr. Han Fumin. Can you come to the stage for a photo session? Please smile to the camera. 1, 2, 3, smile. Again, once more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you. Thank you to all speakers. You may be seated. Beautiful. Last but not least, for the closing remarks, please welcome Dr. Han Fumin from ERIA. Dr. Han Fumin, the floor is yours.
First of all, very good afternoon, and thank you so much. I think for all the speaker that share your insight. Especially, I just would like to comment and congratulate a very excellent study done by BRIN, led by the team of Dr. Usman. I think you've done enormous work in the background, and the result very, I think, excellent. Just to give you what actually ERIA are doing in general, our vision basically have to decarbonize the emission in the region of Southeast Asia and beyond. And we are working around three main key activity, particularly on the knowledge sharing by holding regular of such kind of showcase of around the world, not only in Southeast Asia, what the rest of the region are doing in terms of progress of CCUS and the deployment of CCUS. And also we hold regular capacity building in order to bridge the knowledge gap. We know that some of ASEAN countries are advancing, like Indonesia, particularly Malaysia and Thailand. I think though they already identify some of the pilot project, some regulatory has been advancing, particularly in Indonesia. I think it's a very good progress to be shared within the regions, including Thailand and Malaysia. And the last activity is to support how actually Southeast Asia country able to advance in terms of selecting pilot project, as well as to make sure that we able to commercialize the CCUS by 2030. With that, I think last year and this year, I think the outcome is great within the area study. Area has commissioned around 5 studies, including the BRIN, carry out the estimation of the basin scale in Indonesia in terms of storage capacity, CO2 storage. And we also commissioned the global CCS study to conduct around 4 studies, particularly mapping all the Southeast Asia potential storage, and then also the how the value chain going to be established within Southeast Asia and beyond for trading and hub. And also, we conduct a legal and policy framework to ensure that how we able to facilitate the trade and remove all the barrier, ensure that the business around CCO value chain can, I think, happening in a very fast manner. And the last, how to finance this CCUS, that's most important part. So I think this 5 study, we hope that will support the Southeast Asian country to move on for the next stage, particularly identify, because the suitable story is quite important. What the most exciting, I think what we generally found is around 200 gigaton of suitable storage within Southeast Asia. It could be more beyond because we are not able to estimate all the potential suitable basin. Like Indonesia, the study conducted by BRIN, actually, Indonesia have a largest, to some extent, the largest storage within Southeast Asia, almost 69 gigaton storage capacity that very suitable. And within the depleted oil and gas potential, I think in this study found around 2.5 gigaton. That is an enormous basin. And Indonesia could be an important player in the regional hub, not only for Southeast Asia, but beyond to the rest of the world. I think you're standing to benefit because I think CO2 storage, we are concerning about leakage, other. I think from economic point of view, I'm an economist. I think CO2 is clean. Whether it leakage or what, it need to be deal later. But as Indonesian have enough storage, I think you're going to earn a lot of money. Whether it's storage, it leak in Indonesia or during transportation, I think that it can be dealt within certain standard and procedure based on the IPPC emission accounting standard, I think. But a good news is Indonesia going to be a larger hub in the region. I think the study by Global CCSI also identify suitable cluster. What we done is about because for economic point of view, you need to find it's suitable that a emission cluster, and then you match that with the thing suitable thing, which is the suitable storage, which is approximately. So we found that Indonesian, I think around 9 cluster are very suitable. So this is a good news that I think the next stage that Indonesian can move on building the cluster by having emission source and sink matching. So this cluster will, I think, promote the value chain. And the next step will be, I think, the business model, set up the business model that emission can be traded. Globally, you know that the amendment of London Protocol allow you to move CO2 from one source, one country across the border, transboundary, and to the safety injection in somewhere, particularly here in Indonesia. But I think in Southeast Asia, the most thing whether we are member of London Protocol or not, it's a matter of G2G agreement. So this we can, I think, bypass many barriers. It can moving much faster if you are not member of the London Protocol. I think the last point is financing all this CCUS. You know that the CCUS is part of the public good because it deliver positive environmental impact. It should come from the public financing to some extent. So you know in Europe and other part of the world, the rich country, most financing of CCUS is come from the public financing, whether it's subsidy or other. But in Southeast Asia, I think we are not able to finance CCUS. You see that. But I think other partner like European Commission and other country that is rich, they are willing to finance to share the cost of this. This is a good news. And at other developing partner, I think that we need to find way that this is suitable. But one thing I think we have Japan here. It's as a big brother here in the region. I think through a joint credit mechanism, actually we can cut down costs around the investment capital costs of the CCUS. So by that, there is a certain procedure for the carbon credit sharing when you invest in CCUS. So we hope that we have to explore around financing mechanism, procedural and other, particularly regulatory framework to remove all this bottleneck, and then we can move on the next stage for the regional hub. Hope Indonesia will be a big play a big role in the region. I just want to stop here and hope to have more collaboration in the future. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Fumin, for your closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the event. We would like to convey our deepest gratitude for all of you joining us both online and offline here in our office, Jakarta. Um, in your desk, you can find a barcode that links to the executive summary of the report of today's report. And the report will be uploaded to ERIA website and ASEAN CCUS Network as soon as possible. It has been a wonderful and great day, and we are very happy to share this experience with you. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to say thank you and see you again.